This is my learning app, Geometer. It's an app for 8th graders wanting to learn geometry. So I did a brief overview of all the main concepts in geometry, and I'll give a brief overview of each page. So for the dashboard, we have the mastery score along with the number of skills you've mastered, you're learning, or you're reviewing, and a redirect to the leaderboard. This is the daily review, which is basically my attempt of implementing interleaving into my learning app. Basically, it combines or synthesizes all the concepts that you still need to review into a daily review, and also applies AI to that to make the questions unique. And this is the suggested review, which is basically depending on which lesson you have mastered the least. So in this example, these are a tie, but this is the earlier one. It will suggest me to review this, and for each lesson, it'll show the concepts of the lesson, how you're doing in them, and it'll have a review lesson feature, which is basically just doing the lesson again. The lesson is how the students will be initially introduced to the concepts, and then we also have the mastery quiz, which I'll go over later as well. And at the very bottom, there's a mastery test for them to review all the concepts at one time. The leaderboard is simply just a leaderboard of streaks, a little bit of extrinsic incentivization, and then the account page. It's basic information like the name, the profile picture. This is actually quite important, this interest. I use these interests in my AI feature. Basically what it does is it can reskin the questions based on the user's interests. So for in this example, if they say basketball, it'll be questions about basketball, if applicable. And then log out, reset progress, delete account. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to get into the dashboard. So I'll start off with the review. So how these reviews work, it's just uh, it takes a mix of questions based on what you're struggling with, what you need to review, and how it works is that it randomly generates the numbers each time it generates the review, so it's never the same set of numbers. So in this case, I'll just solve the question. Okay. And after each question, it will give a little bit of feedback about why the answer is right, why the answer is wrong. I'll actually get this one wrong. I'll put like 4. And when the user gets it wrong, they'll give a prompting of how to do it. So in this case, well, it'll be like. And also, I added this feature called Ask Geometer. It's a Socratic hint. So right here, maybe the user forgot how to do what a transversal line is. And it won't tell them the answer exactly, but it'll give them basically a pointer on what to focus on, what to look at. So, and all the questions basically are just going to be from the lessons that you're struggling with the most. 20. Oh, whoops. And at the end, it'll give basically a brief overview of what you got right, what you got wrong, and it'll suggest lessons based on what you got wrong. So I'm going to go to this one. I'll go to the review lesson to show you how the lessons work. I wanted to make the lessons a bit in the format of I do, we do, and you do. So first, it'll start with the system basically showing how to do it'll just show a solved problem, and it'll give the basic theorems. It'll show a diagram for the user to understand what's going on. So here, it'll just show what a linear pair theorem is, like how to basically solve for this angle or that angle. And it'll just show the theorems and give some pointers on how to maybe solve a problem. And then also add a little interactive here to prove the corresponding angles postulate about transversal lines. It's basically just formulas and a bit of interactive here and there just to keep the user a little bit engaged. And then it'll start with guided steps. So basically, it'll tell the user what to do, what formula to apply. So for example, here, always tell them like what should I apply. And then this is more the independent part. Oh, whoops. And then this one is basically a combination of all of them. So they have to combine. They can combine. I guess they could combine the corresponding angles postulate as well as the adjacent angle postulate. So I like to have them combine different concepts in one question. And then if a user wants to earn mastery on a topic, they have to take a mastery quiz. So basically, I want to make the mastery quizzes ensure that they actually understand the content with no help. So it has to be in one setting. They can't leave the tab. It'll just not save it. They can't ask it in geometer. They can't leave the tab either, actually. So let's say, for example, I don't know, I leave a tab. It'll do this. It'll end my attempt. It won't save my progress and make me restart. So let's actually go through with one lesson. And when you're doing the mastery quiz, it won't show what's right and what's wrong. And at the end, it'll give feedback on each of the questions. So basically, it'll give a brief explanation of what the right answer is, and it'll prompt you to the next lesson. I won't do the next lesson. I'm already mastering that. And as you can see, my mastery score updated for this. Finally, I have the mastery test. It's just a test. It's basically the mastery quiz, but with everything, all the different lessons in it. And I won't do the whole thing, don't worry. I'll just leave. So, in terms of the learning styles I wanted to implement with this, I focused on scaffolding. Scaffolding is a big one because if you go to the lessons, like for example this lesson, at the beginning we start with solved problems. I like doing solved problems first because obviously the user is going to have no idea how to do this problem if they don't know what the Pythagorean theorem is. So first you got to show them how to do it. And then it'll be a guided version of the problem. It won't make them do the whole thing by themselves, but it'll give them steps for each one that they can solve by themselves. It'll tell them the theorems, and it'll just give them small pointers, and then eventually we get to the more independent part. See, there's no formulas here. They got to do it by themselves. A little bit of review. Obviously, 8th graders know how to solve for the area for the right triangle. But what I eventually end up doing is I combine the concepts. Like, see over here, they know how to solve the perimeter, but I use the Pythagorean theorem to help them solve the perimeter with only two sides. And this one is also a combination, Pythagorean theorem, then area. I like combining because it helps them create those neural connections between not related topics. And yeah, these daily reviews, I'll go back, I'll try another one because I don't think I saw any modified questions. Okay. That's an annoying problem. See, for example, this basketball court basketball court question. It'll give a triangular banner. So right here we're having these word problems because the word problems are not explicitly just like find the hypotenuse, find the leg or whatever, find the area. It's giving it's not giving the exact sort of formula to how to find the question that's actually being asked. The user has to go in and try to find the question and dissect it from the question by looking through the word problem and truly understanding the concept. That's the main thing I wanted to do with these rap questions, to make word problems that are not like I didn't let the AI go have a little free fall, right? I took a existing question and made the AI wrap it based on the interest. Like as you can see, basketball, that was one of my interests. So this question will be about basketball, and yeah, that's about it.